My name is Hans-Martin Buff. I am a sound engineer and producer from Germany. I have lived in America and Germany, and I've worked freelance and on staff with several big names in rock and roll. It's been a pleasure to do that. Among them Prince, no doubt, Musti, the Scorpions, and many, many other talented people which aren't quite as easy to show off with, but were just as enjoyable to work with. How did I start? Well, I never wanted to become a recording engineer. Well, I didn't say I don't want to become one, it just never entered my mind. So at first I thought I wanted to be a journalist, and I worked in radio as a journalist. But I always wrote songs and was in bands. And then many, many things happened. To make a very long story short, that took me to America, and I did more and more music, and I paid other people to record my demos. And then a friend of mine started at a recording school in Minneapolis, where I lived. And I went to see him to check it out, and I loved it. And I started, and I haven't looked back since. And that was a band in Minneapolis. It's kind of a bar band called Mick Sterling and the Stud Brothers. To this day, I think they exist. And they do R&B stuff. And they're really good. It's a 10-piece band. And at the time, at least 2/3 of them were professionals that, you know, really did nothing else. When it was time to do that session, we were two new guys at the studio. And the owner thought we could do the gig. And the band thought, nah, we'll bring our own engineer. And that was really good, because to this day, out of the maybe 20 biggest musical egos I've worked with, 6 were in that band. So that was really, really good, because A, I knew I still liked it. B, they accepted me. It was, you know, they liked me, having me around, which is a nice realization I have. And C, I knew I wasn't there yet. I knew I wasn't ready. Because before I thought, I came out of school, now I'm ready to make rock and roll history, but that wasn't the case. So I figured that out in that session, that I still needed a couple of rounds around the block to figure out the basics. There are so many great moments that I've had at night in the studio, or mostly at night, but in the studio with artists I admire, friends I like, creating something that wasn't before and is now. And that's the privilege of my job. The first time I consciously noticed that this is special, that was a Prince thing, where we were working on 2 records at the same time. One for this fella named Larry Graham, who was an inventor of slap bass, actually. We used to be in a band called Sly and the Family Stone. And the other one by Chaka Khan. And we were working in 2 studios simultaneously. And I was working in the one studio with a guy that Chaka Khan brought in, and they were working on a Larry Graham song for Chaka Khan in the other studio, and I would go back and forth, and that was a good night. You know, I think I've never regretted the choice, but I really love doing this every day. And if you love doing this every day, you'll be fine. Because it'll be hard, no matter what. I don't know, now it's, right now when we're taping this interview, it's December, and I have no clue what I'm going to do in February. I don't know. But I will know, I'm pretty positive. I don't know if I will have time to take off for vacation in August, or how much money I will make in June. I have no clue. But I don't mind. You know, it'll work itself out. And if you don't mind either, you'll be okay. My tip would be to learn as much as you can. If you get an assistant job somewhere, take it. And you have to enjoy helping people with their own creative experience, even if it's not the music you personally would like or buy. I think that's the most important thing if you want to be a recording engineer.